1 second. Jeez, and we're live.
And we're live.
Welcome to Sports Entertainment Tonight on AOC.
How's everyone doing this week?
Yes, we're doing great. Good Money in the Bank. Good Raw, new world champion.
However, some really unusual stories this week, especially when it pertains to not only Roman Reigns, but some really unconfirmed reports about Paige and Alberto Del Rio as well.
Yeah, he's married too. Yeah. 3 kids. Gotta road somebody else on the road.
Well, Nick, if you want to start off with that one, what a lot of the unconfirmed reports out there are saying is that there was some sort of domestic dispute or some sort of altercation last night, Sunday night after Money in the Bank between Alberto Del Rio and Paige. There are like so many different unconfirmed stories, that Paige had a shouting match with Alberto Del Rio. There was a physical altercation. There was also reports that Paige was drunk. Nothing has really been confirmed whether or not as to what happened with Paige, but I think a lot of that stuff is just plain rumor, because if any of that stuff was true, as I tell our director, we're not online on the stream. It's not showing online on here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. But Nick, what are your reactions to that? I mean, it's got to be just plain rumors, because if any of that was true, then we definitely wouldn't have seen Paige on Monday Night Raw this week.
Exactly. And at first when I saw it, I thought it was merely just an episode of Total Divas. I did also read somewhere that Alberto Del Rio is still married. But apparently I think they said that Paige was detained and her and Del Rio were in an argument. But the fact of the matter is she had a title match on Raw last night. So if she would have been arrested, wouldn't have been on TV. You know how they do their thing. And I think I read somewhere today that the WWE was contemplating whether they're going to give her any disciplinary action.
What about Del Rio?
Well, Del Rio wasn't really detained per se. He wasn't really.
He was taken to the hospital
for
his injuries in the Money in the Bank match, correct?
I think he was. But like I said, there's so many unsubstantiated reports and news are. All right. Okay. We're now showing as live.
We are now live on the stream. Whoa!
YouTube, baby. Bang.
Yep.
I think it says the internet can totally see you now. Whoa!
Yep. Now,
Yes.
we are now confirmed live here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Which last week we had a bunch of viewers, didn't we, Billy?
Yeah, according to the analytics from the live stream alone, that's just the live stream alone, not the video that goes up on YouTube when it gets archived, but on the live stream alone, and I don't even know if the director Jacob has heard this, but on last week's live stream, we netted over 1,600 viewers.
Ooh.
Just on the live stream alone.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah.
and
People like their sports entertainment.
oh,
Yes.
definitely.
So we were yapping about Paige, on our AOC stream.
Let's talk about the king. Let's talk about the king of Memphis. About that news story.
Oh, didn't we talk about that last week?
I believe we did.
About the whole situation with Jerry the King Lawler and his wife. But I think one thing we haven't touched upon is,
Thank you, Jacob.
especially when it pertains to SmackDown, is who's going to be taking Jerry the King Lawler's spot now that Lawler has been suspended. A lot of people are really suspecting that it might be Corey Graves from NXT.
That would be good, and I suppose he would take the supposed heel commentator position.
Oh yeah, because he is the heel commentator on NXT.
Sure.
Really good
So
job.
I would think he'd be the next in line, and they were already having talks bringing up Corey Graves, which we've been suggesting here on Sports Entertainment Tonight
Come on,
for
Rob.
a long time. But tonight we've got a big show for you. We're going to be doing some Money in the Bank reviews. Maybe give some grades, our opinions on that. We'll look at Raw from Phoenix. We will look at all the news and notes that have been going on during the WWE, and we'll even take a look at some battleground predictions as far as what the card's going to be.
Yep, definitely. And we also want to hear what you guys out there have to say by dialing 366-8950. That's 366-8950. Or you
Which,
can,
by the way, that's 337-366-8950. If you're from out of the area code and just watching the stream, randomly in like Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah. How do you do them?
that would be a really long distance call. But if you guys are a little bit too
If you're a
shy,
true fan.
but if you're a little bit too shy and you don't want to call us, there is an alternate option. Go into youtube.com/WrestleGamer, get in our chat room, and we'll read your comments or your questions live from the chat and give you guys a shout out as well.
That's youtube.com/WrestleGamer.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just talk about, start off talking about Money in the Bank. It was Sunday. It went against the NBA Finals Game 7, which I did not watch any of.
Neither did I.
Because I was
The
busy
Cavaliers
watching
won.
wrestling, because I'm cool like that.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch replays of, on SportsCenter of that.
Yeah.
So our kickoff show, it was a couple of matches that weren't really announced until last minute. The first opening match of the kickoff show, the Golden Truth against the very sunburned Breezango, and holy moly, what
that
do you
Corey?
know? Right on cue, it's Corey.
Let's talk to Corey.
Corey, we're talking Money in the Bank. What'd you think?
What's the deal?
What up, yo?
I enjoyed it.
Corey, let me ask you this question. How ridiculous did Fandango and Tyler Breeze look at Money in the Bank on that kickoff match against Goldust and R-Truth? That was awful, wasn't it?
Or you could be 10.
They didn't even look like a tag team.
Well, I mean, it didn't look like a suntan, really. I mean, it didn't look like a sunburn. It was obviously prosthetic makeup that was falling off during the match. And I guess the theme of the match was that Golden Truth kept on, slapping their sunburns and chopping their sunburns, and then finally Goldust gave, Fandango the final cut. And I graded this match an F. It was painfully horrible.
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Did anyone notice, Corey, did you notice that they actually shaved their eyebrows for that whole thing?
No, I didn't know that they did.
Yeah, Fandango and Tyler Breeze had no eyebrows at Money in the Bank.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I got some questions for y'all.
What's that?
Yeah, what you got, Corey?
Now, my first question, okay, it's about the divas.
Women's wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, women's wrestlers, not divas anymore.
Wrestlers.
Go ahead.
Wrestlers. Anyway, what's the deal with Natalia
And Becky Lynch.
yeah.
What you're referring to actually did happen on Sunday night at Money in the Bank. In the Divas tag team match that they were having between Becky Lynch and Natalya and Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Charlotte and Dana Brooke ended up winning the match. And then afterwards, Becky Lynch jumped Natalya. I'm sorry, the other way around. Natalya jumped Becky Lynch and turned heel, so to speak,
Yeah,
which
Natalya's
was a
not-
big surpriser. So, what's going on with that, Billy?
Corey, I would surmise about this whole situation with Natalya and Becky Lynch is the fact that Natalya's base career right now is pretty much dying. Natalia's really becoming not relevant as of late, especially as a face. So having her turn heel on Becky Lynch and having her attack her, I think, personally to me, it's a fresh change. And I think Natalya comes off better as a heel rather than a face. And who knows, maybe you could do more creatively as a heel than you can as a face.
Well, and I even read a little bit earlier today that actually the original plans were to turn Becky Lynch, and they changed their minds last minute to actually turn Natalya into a heel. And I would imagine it's because Becky Lynch has more momentum as a baby face, as far as the women's division.
However, I do see if they wanted to, Becky Lynch could pull it off. She did in NXT because she had a short run with Sasha Banks as the BFF version 2.0 in NXT. So,
Which of course makes the third person to turn on Becky Lynch with Paige, Charlotte, and now Natalya, all turning on Becky Lynch. But Corey, what I really wanted to ask you about, I'm not sure if you heard about it today, but breaking news just came out today a little bit earlier on. Roman Reigns, the former WWE champion, has been suspended from the WWE for 30 days for violating the wellness policy.
Citizens sober.
So your boy, he was gonna win the championship back until he got hot.
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Da, da, da,
yeah,
da,
but
da.
there are reports out there that are now saying that he will be back in time for Battleground. So,
Well, it's 30 days, and Battleground is 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
So, and so basically, what that means, I'm not necessarily sure because initially they are building it's a triple threat Shield match at Battleground. A lot of people are saying that this could be possibly so they can push that match to SummerSlam.
Triple threat.
Maybe they take Roman Reigns out of the match because he's not going to be a part of the build, and then he comes and interferes because it looks like they're turning your boy heel.
Now I gotta talk to you, Nick.
Yeah, what you got, man?
Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler.
I would like to shoot myself in the head.
Yes, I cannot stand Baron Corbin. I'd rather slit my wrist than watch one of his matches. What you got, Corey?
That was aggravating.
Yes, it was aggravating. I agree. Your boy Dolph. I mean, what can he do? I guess he's getting older, up there in age. Not really much you can do for the guy, but all he does is put over people.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
And I mean, really, it was their best match that they've probably had yet. But it's just like he is so boring as a wrestler.
They didn't have no build up for it. Like, what was the point of the match?
And I actually had that in my notes as well. They weren't on TV at all the entire month. The only thing that they did was at the beginning of the month, right after the last pay-per-view, was Dolph Ziggler gave him a low blow. And that was pretty much the only build they had for their feud.
They didn't have no storyline.
And they didn't even show any kind of video package to build the match right before the match like they did for every single one of the other matches. Go ahead, Billy.
Which still leaves me wondering why in the world were these matches bumped to the main card? Why was Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler and Apollo Crews versus Sheamus bumped from the kickoff show to the main
Why
card?
was Lucha Dragons even going against the Dudley Boys? They did not have anything of a feud. They were just being put on the card. It was like WrestleMania. Just like, hey, we got to get everybody on the card.
Yeah, but to hear Mauro Ranallo call those two matches actually did make it a little bit easier to bear.
Oh,
But just to kind of go through, since we were talking about those matches, I graded Golden Truth and Breezango a F. I don't know if you guys agree
Yeah,
with me.
yeah.
Lucha Dragons, Dudley Boys, I had as a C, C+. It was okay. Enzo Cass, Bod Billings, Gallows and Anderson, New Day. Were y'all surprised to see the New Day retain the tag titles?
Honestly, yes. I was very surprised because a lot of people, including yours truly, I even said it last week, right here on Sports Entertainment Tonight, especially on the post show. Yeah, I was going to go with Gallows and Anderson.
Or even Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, but I'm very surprised because that kind of shows me that WWE really sees something in the New Day's gimmick. Ever since they won the title and they've owned the gimmick. It's become them. They've made it entertaining. Fans love to see them. A lot of people want to come to see it. Fans like to wear the. Well, let me just say this. I love the New Day. But you will never see me wearing a woman's pleasuring apparatus on my head.
It's a unicorn. But we have new developments as far as the New Day. They have a new feud because last night the Wyatts came back and the New Day were dumb enough to interrupt Bray Wyatt.
And it's over.
And now it's going to be New Day Falls. New Day Falls. New Day Falls, according to the Wyatts.
Well, let me say one thing about this, Corey, and I think you probably agree if you would notice the way Bray Wyatt looked. He looked to be in phenomenal shape.
They said he lost about like 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
The New Day, I thought they had a lot of botches in this match. And the timing was way off. Like, Luke Gallows was not in his place toward the end of the match. And pretty much just like, he was roaming around, like, having to get to his spot, and then they finally lined him over the top. And it was just kind of a mess. Sometimes these fatal four-way matches with the tag teams, it's just too much.
Yeah, there was even one point in the match, I think it was like after the initial confrontation, where all the teams got in the ring, and apparently Big E forgot where he was supposed to stand. Apparently he forgot who his partner was, and it was like, or is my partner?
Yeah, they were like roaming around the ring, and it was just a mess. It was a mess. So, I actually, for that reason, just because it was so botchy, I graded it a C+.
Blake Dozer is in our chat room right now, and his first comment is, they ruined the Wyatt's return.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, if they were setting up a storyline between them,
yeah.
But yeah, stand the storyline. Maybe the Wyatt's family do something serious.
But did the Wyatts match with the New Day? I mean, like, it's gonna be interesting to see, definitely, because I guess the Wyatts are so serious and, you know, political and crazy and cult-like against this fun comedic group, and it'll be interesting to see that. But I thought they should have let Wyatt talk a little more before they interrupted him.
One thing of interest to take that happened in this segment was the look that Xavier Woods had several times when he was looking at Bray Wyatt. I don't know how they're gonna play that into the whole angle with them. Like, maybe Bray Wyatt was sending out a hypnotic beam at Xavier Woods. I'm not sure.
Or Xavier Woods is scared of Bray Wyatt.
Which, Mark, tell me, if the Wyatts do win in a match against the New Day, do you think it's going to be kind of like the free bird rules with the tag team titles like the New Day have been doing with the Wyatts?
Luke Harper comes back in Bray Wyatt. Well,
and they got Strowman and Eric Rowan right now. So it might be them holding the tag titles if they do win it. And I'm like one of those that have been saying that, just like Dean Ambrose winning the title, he needed to win that title for legitimacy reasons. Bray Wyatt needs that legitimacy title win himself.
You can always favor Dean Ambrose after.
Yeah, but it would mean more, in my opinion, for it to be a singles title rather than a tag team.
A world title. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why I think they need to. The Shield has been dominating the world title picture for the last 2-3 years. So that's why they can eventually put the Shield back together, have them like kind of go on a run against, your Bullet Clubs, your New Day, your Wyatt family, all your little few, factions. And that way you can give some other people a chance with the title, like Bray Wyatt, like AJ Styles, like some other people that you can really just get over, Kevin Owens. Some people that need to win the world title for legitimacy reasons.
Yeah.
Overall, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, I gave it a D+. Thought it was kind of lame.
Now you're being generous on that one.
Yeah. The Divas match that we talked about, the Divas tag match. Women's match, I'm sorry. I also gave a D+. Sheamus, Apollo Crews, not very much build other than Apollo Crews talking crap about the turtles and stuff.
Yeah.
And really, it wasn't bad for me. It was the best match yet on the card. It was hard hitting. I thought they fought pretty stiff. Sheamus was, pounding while Apollo Crews had his quick counters. But ultimately, I thought they made it look like a fluke whenever Apollo Crews only got the roll-up victory on Sheamus rather than actually doing his finisher on Sheamus. So, it's just like, okay, Apollo Crews, you barely beat Sheamus by a fluke, so that doesn't necessarily help Apollo Crews.
One of the things I stated on my Money in the Bank review on the channel is the fact that about up to this point, before the matchup with John Cena and AJ Styles, that crowd was pretty much dead. There was no crowd reaction.
It was Las Vegas.
But, what did the WWE give them to cheer about until AJ Styles and John Cena? Nothing.
Yeah. Point taken.
You heard these grades. F, C, C+, D+, D+, B- for Sheamus and Apollo Crews for me. It was okay. The finish kind of ruined it for me. But, until that, they're saying this is going to be the best Money in the Bank ever. You know, I mean, I thought that they should have had, I don't know, maybe, I mean, you can't put the Money in the Bank to start off the show. So, I mean, I thought it was a good move to go with the tag, but the tag match just let down.
We got a couple of people to welcome into the chat room. Devontae Agerson says, "What's going on, dudes?" What's up, Devontae?
What's up, Devontae?
And Chris Leck,
Aziz,
a new chatter. Chris Leck is in the chat room.
which is actually my homeboy.
What's up, Chris? How you doing? Welcome into the chat room here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. Glad you're here with us.
And of course, Blake saying, "What's up, guys? How is everybody in the room?" We're doing pretty good, man. Like a glove. No.
Corey, I got a trivia question ready for you. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And this pertains to Money in the Bank.
You going easy or you going hard?
All right. My question to you is: back in 2000, at WrestleMania 21, rather, was the very first Money in the Bank. Who won that Money in the Bank?
Y2J Chris Jericho?
He actually invented the Money in the Bank,
And
but
he
has never
was,
won.
yeah, but he was in that match, but he didn't win.
And it went, somebody else won.
It was someone who had a rating of not PG-13.
Not PG-13.
If you're not PG-13, then you're what? Rated?
Rated R?
Exactly.
Edge.
Yes.
Aha!
Edge, that was like the precipice of the huge storyline that sent Edge into superstardom was the Money in the Bank WrestleMania 21.
Who are the only two-time Money in the Bank winners.
Yep. Where is it right now, y'all?
Well, CM Punk was 2 times.
Yeah. CM Punk won it 2 times.
Where is it right now?
Edge, well, he's doing the show that Edge and Christian show that reeks totally of awesomeness on the WWE Network.
He's Haven on Sci-Fi.
But I think that series concluded, if I'm not mistaken.
That weeks of darkness? Totally weeks of darkness.
On their show? Yeah. Yeah, they do some really... Now, some of the stuff is kind of funny on their show, but what else can I say about it?
Corey, we appreciate the call, man.
Yeah.
Oh, anytime, baby.
Yes, sir. So give us a call back next week, and we'll holler at you, brother.
Hey, that tournament, I'm ready for it.
Yes, sir. You and me both, man. So, yeah, stay tuned on the WWE Network and get back with us.
Yeah.
I will.
All right, cool, man. Well, peace out. Have a good one, man.
I think probably the only funniest show that's on the WWE Network is Swerved.
I thought the second season was actually really funny, you know, because they weren't as much pranking the superstars as they were just pranking, like, fans and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was pretty good.
Even Vince McMahon started pranking some people.
Which, real quick, before we get to our good matches at Money in the Bank, let's just kind of run through some of these major stories that
Yes.
have been kind of in the news as far as wrestling. Major news was announced yesterday. NXT New Orleans tickets are going on sale Friday. And the show is going to be August 6th on a Saturday. Right now, the advertised names are Nakamura, Austin Aries, Asuka, your girl, Bailey, and Dash and Dawson, the Revival. So I plan on trying to be there. I've been waiting for them to come to New Orleans, and I'm looking forward to it.
Which place in New Orleans? Like theater? Or...
It's New Orleans Theater, apparently.
When they were there for WrestleMania 30, they actually had NXT. They had a couple of NXT matches.
Access, right.
And one of the matches I walked in on was actually Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know it at the time, but when I saw their faces on the on NXT, I'm like, damn, those are the guys that I watched. Blake said he agreed with me about Swerve. Vince is crazy, and Devontae wants to know: did you talk about the Roman Reigns suspension, that he was suspended for 30 days? Yes, Chris.
Yes, we did.
I believe we have. Roman Reigns has your former world champion as a Sunday night. Was suspended 30 days. On Monday Night Raw, he did actually get put into the main event of Battleground in a triple threat match against the champion Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. However, I'm not sure how the WWE is going to go forward with this as far as Is it going to be just Ambrose versus Rollins now, and then maybe Roman Reigns runs in, or do they just do the build alone with Ambrose and Rollins, and then just have Reigns be in the match at Battleground?
I think they should do Ambrose and Rollins, and Reigns costs Rollins the championship, and Rollins it sets up the match for SummerSlam.
I like your opinion there, Mark. I think that's what they're probably going to do. Yeah. I mean, it's logical as far as wrestling booking. Let's see. They leaked out that Kalisto was originally supposed to be the 7th Money in the Bank member. However, he kind of had like an injured neck or something like that, so he ended up getting it on the pre-show. AJ Styles was on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast last night. What'd you think of that, Billy?
Well, I was hoping that maybe we can wait until the post show to actually discuss that.
Okay, fair enough.
Because there was a lot of interesting things that were said, a lot of topics that were brought up that I think would merit a full discussion.
Surely. Let's see. We talked about Becky Lynch. It was originally planned for her to turn heel, not Nat. They changed that otherwise. How about, and I'll talk about this one a little more, I guess, whenever we get to the AJ Styles and John Cena, but could you hear every single spot that John Cena was calling during the match on Money in the Bank or what? He was so loud. He's like, "Okay, AJ, I'm gonna drop kick you here. All right, I'm gonna, I mean, he was calling every single spot. He must have had a microphone on him or something."
Well, I really couldn't hear it too well myself because that's when I started bringing back live reaction hangouts. By the way, I keep stressing, live reactions does not mean live stream. It means live reactions. People don't seem to understand the terminology between that. But yeah, I couldn't really tell, to be honest. Blake has a couple of comments. He says that Roman will be off suspension by July 24th, and like 6/21 to 7/21. Yeah. So, but the fact remains that we still don't know if they're still going to use him in the storyline, or if they're going to keep him in the main event. You know, we just don't know how they're going to play that off.
Which for a while, for a second, I almost was thinking it was a work. But then again, I thought about it. They wouldn't drag his name through the mud like that if because hey, that makes a bad name for you technically. But
yeah, but if it comes up on Monday Night Raw as part of a storyline, then yeah, we can conclude that it's a work.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty quite evident that, from Money in the Bank and Raw last night, they're turning this guy heel. He told the crowd to shut up last night.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't care what they thought, so.
Even Blake agrees with us. He says, I hope they repackage him.
Well, I think they've already started that process.
Oh, yeah.
We've already talked about Paige, and I don't really want to talk about that anymore. Rusev and Lana are going to be on SportsCenter. If y'all watch the little SportsCenter WWE things.
I'll stare at Lana any day of the week.
Yeah, he loves Lana.
WWE signed a TV deal in China. Apparently they signed their first Chinese wrestler. And they have a tour there in a couple weeks. So, hey,
yeah,
it's a big market for them to get into.
Oh, definitely.
They also announced, this is major news, on July 19th, which is actually my brother's birthday. They're going to have the SmackDown draft on the first live edition of SmackDown.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the brand split goes.
And they shouldn't break up tag teams, I don't think so.
They will be breaking up some tag teams.
I mean, during the first brand split around 2001, 2002, they actually broke up the Dudley Boys and had Devon as like Pastor Devon, and
which I actually heard they're doing thinking about doing that again.
Yeah, and then at one point they tried to make Bubba Ray Dudley the dancing hardcore champion. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
It didn't work. They had to get them back together.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to see him as Bully Ray in WWE.
I think TNA would probably hold a copyright to that, I think.
One other little note I had about Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins, man, he needs to get him some better wristbands. Like he's got the flimsiest little wristbands. They always fall apart on him, like during every match. It's basically like a cloth with a little rubber band around it, and I mean they fall off pretty much every match. And it's like, what's the point of having them? So yeah, there's that. Let's see. There's one of the matches. I can't remember which one it was, but I thought the ref was just god awful. Let's see, but. It might have been the women's match, but what are the qualities of a good WWE referee or any wrestling referee?
Know your spot, and know your cadence. And I believe the match you're talking about was the tag team match, the Fatal 4-Way. Because I believe at one point it looked like Cass had, I'm trying to think who it was, pinned. But we
like
could
a
hear,
three-way.
we could hear the 1, the 2, and the 3. And then you hear an instant crowd reaction. And then the referee waves it off and says, no, it was no 3 count. And then the crowd.
Right, and there was one pin where somebody's leg was like under the rope, and it's like, come on, get your crap together, ref. So.
Now, sometimes those are intentional because they're made to. Referee needs to make the 3 count, and then he needs to look and say that, oh, I made a mistake, so that's why I need to wave it off. Then sometimes when you know the leg is supposed to be either on the rope or underneath the rope, and you know you're supposed to look, you should do 1 and you 2, and then you should see that the leg is up and stop your cadence, stop your count. But there are some instances where there are just mistakes were made, and the referee for that Fatal 4-Way match, mistakes were made.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not exactly sure. I even wrote it down, but I'm sure if I read through the notes. But oh yeah, it was actually the women's match. I said the ref sucks. And he was just very passive. He's like, "Come on, guys, come on," and then you're supposed to count. You're supposed to make them break it up. And I thought that the ref in the women's match. Was god awful. No, it wasn't Charles Robinson. It was some younger guy that I've only seen him.
I
Will
bet
say
you
that-
shootout.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they break them up, it's an easy way to cop a feel.
But I mean, just come on, get a better ref, WWE. That actually understands what the heck they're doing.
Blake says all champions should travel that way. Everyone can see the champions. And Chris says a WWE fantasy wrestling draft at my house.
Sounds like a party. If we're not doing the TV show, actually, I'm not sure when our new season starts, but I think we might be calling the draft from here, Sports Entertainment Tonight. If it's going to be the first live edition on a Tuesday. I'm thinking, hoping we can maybe go to our next season.
You're going to get dressed up in a suit and be the draft speaker, SmackDown selects.
As long as I don't have to dress up like John Laurinaitis.
Or as they called him, John Laryngitis last night.
Or Johnny Ace. Or
Big Johnny.
Where
Big
the hell
Johnny.
did he get that suit from? Jim Cornette's Blue Light Special House for Men?
Yeah.
I guess so.
You're going to be like,
So next on the card, we got AJ Styles and John Cena. Finally a good match, because I was suffering at that point in this pay-per-view because it was a bunch of poo-poo until we got to our 3 main events of the night. So AJ Styles against John Cena, it did not disappoint. These guys brought it. I did think Cena looked a little ring rusty. And there was the thing that I mentioned as far as him just being way too loud as far as calling the spots with AJ Styles. I mean, I could hear just about everything John Cena was saying.
I bet you they didn't even say that until after the match.
But AJ Styles brings it every single time. I haven't seen him in a bad match yet. Pretty much every match he's in is awesome, and we can talk about that more and what he said on the Stone Cold podcast. But that dude brings it every single match, and he deserves whatever spot he gets. So the controversial finish. You want to kind of give us the lowdown, Billy?
Well, the reason why they had that is with the club coming out to attack John Cena and therefore help AJ Styles get the win. For all intents and purposes, this is the start of a good storyline between John Cena and AJ Styles. You can't have their first match end on a clean finish. You have to have something to basically pull that feud and continue the feud. And what they did with the dirty finish, that's what it's called. It's called dirty finish. It definitely does that. It continues the storyline. It continues the feud. Because I see this feud, personally, lasting until SummerSlam.
As do I. And I was even talking with Mark a little bit earlier on about how I think they should almost hold off doing Cena versus AJ Styles too, and really just do a 6-man tag. Get Enzo and Cass and Cena against the club at the next pay-per-view, and that way they can hold off the rematch until SummerSlam.
Devontae says, who agrees that last night they buried Carl Anderson? I don't.
Yeah, well, I can see where you're going there with that, Devontae, because Carl Anderson did not get any offense in whatsoever on John Cena.
Yeah, but the purpose of it and the way they used it was, again, to build more heat on AJ Styles and the club, and in the continuation of the feud between Styles and John Cena.
I mean,
That's how it. When
they
you
could have had him get at least a couple shots on Cena, though. I mean, he looked like he just was overmatched completely against John Cena.
Because maybe John Cena is that good.
well, technically, John Cena's character last night was supposed to be really mad, really pissed off at the club and what transpired
And ready
at
to
Money in
take
the
on
Bank.
all three of
Yes.
them kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, but needless to say, they had John Cena get a clean pin after an AA, but the ref was knocked out. So who's to say AJ would have kicked out if the ref would have been there? And AJ wasn't aware that the club was going to come out and help him, and they put him on there. So they had to give a brisk apology to John Cena on Raw last night. And a lot of John Cena, of course, thought it was hogwash.
Yeah. You ain't sorry, no point.
I can't see your apology.
By the way, if you agree or disagree with anything we have to say, we'd like to hear what you have to say by calling in to area code 337-366-8950. And if you're too shy, you don't want to call us on the phone, come over to youtube.com/WrestleGamer. Hop in our chat room and we'll talk to you on in the chat room. And Blake says, "Good job reading the story, Billy. #respect." Well, thank you very much, Blake.
When you gonna do your loot
We
crate?
do have a loot crate. We're
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
get through our card. We got some.
Yeah.
We got time for loot
Yeah.
crate. We're gonna
Yeah.
get finished through our Money in the Bank card. We got a few matches left. But next was the actual Money in the Bank match, which pitted Chris Jericho, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Alberto Del Rio, Kevin Owens, and Dean Ambrose. So
Pretty awesome match.
awesome match.
Yeah.
Did not let down. I thought every single member in the Money in the Bank match got a chance to shine. It made everybody that was involved in the match look better, and it really builded their characters.
And the storylines too, having War Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn had the Money in the Bank one, and Kevin Owens messed it up, and he's more mad at Kevin Owens for screwing up his.
And it looks like they are going to have a feud that's going to go probably at least until SummerSlam as well.
yeah, but in the way the feud is going to go, I don't see it happening as a normal match. It would have to have some sort of a special stipulation.
It will. It's
or
probably going
Last
to
Man
be
Standing.
either Last Man Standing
I
or Hardcore, I Quit, or something like that, a cage.
Well, now that you say it, Last Man Standing seems to be possibly the best feasible way of that storyline ending between those two.
Yeah.
Sure, and I think that they're going to go all the way at it at Battleground. They won't get resolved there, and their sheer hatred for each other will
Yeah.
carry over into SummerSlam, where the feud will finally be finished for the time being. But ultimately, awesome match. Let's see.
How awesome was Cesaro in that match? And you definitely have to talk about that spot he did with the Cesaro uppercut, leaping off of the ladder to the springboard on the ropes, and then coming back. And I forget who he hit with the Cesaro uppercut, but he pulled off that spot beautifully.
Yeah, and I wrote down some of these spots. Cesaro flipped Y2J on a ladder. Sami Zayn did the wheelhouse onto everybody. Y2J suplexed Dean Ambrose onto a ladder. Cesaro elbowed. Let's see, Kevin Owens. Oh yeah, they did their little elbows and cannonballs.
Yeah.
Let's see, the Alberto Del Rio stomp on the ladder. That was pretty good. Let's see, arm breaker on a ladder. And they just had some awesome spots. If you haven't watched the match yet, go to the WWE Network. The Cesaro swinging Y2J onto the
Oh
ladder.
yeah.
Let's see, the backstabber onto the ladder. Fast paced. This is an awesome chance. Kevin Owens frog splash Dean Ambrose onto a ladder. The Michinoku driver onto a ladder.
And not just the ladder.
on the side of the ladder.
Yeah, that's what. How do you take a spot like that? How do you take
think
a
that
bump
could
like
paralyze
that?
you. I don't know.
Exactly. How do you do that?
That one got holy shit chance.
Yes,
Let's see.
for good reasons.
Let's see. Alberto Del Rio took a little nasty spill there toward the end of the match. I think that's why he ended up having to go to the hospital. Let's see. They set up the ladders onto the main ladder against the turnbuckles to where all 6 men could get up, like right there on the
It
ladder.
was like a giant erecta set.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but it was a perfect way to get a picture of all 6 of them climbing toward the championship. Let's
Hint,
see.
hint. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. What he just said.
Well, I mean, as far as like the poster, like
Exactly.
next year.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's see. Anything else? Kevin Owens powerbomb Sami Zayn onto the ladder. He was out. After that, it ended up being Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose, the last two people. Dean Ambrose kind of smashed his head on the ladder, and that pretty much did it for him. Dean Ambrose, your Money in the Bank briefcase holder.
For 2016, and later tonight we get a surprise.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you tuning in, Blake. Seeing that you having
Yep.
peace out. Let's see. Next, we have the U.S. title match, Rusev against Titus O'Neil, and it was Father's Day, so this one had kind of a Father's Day feel because Titus O'Neil had his kids there with him.
But it was almost academic. You could tell right from the start that they weren't going to put the title on Titus O'Neil.
And it's basically somebody to be a placeholder right now, until Rusev gets a real feud. Make Rusev look good. But Rusev pretty much crushed. But the real story that came from it was afterwards he disrespected his kids by saying, your father's a loser.
And Happy Father's Day!
So, yeah, that was good. Titus O'Neil was mad last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he pretty much went and brawled it out with Rusev. Their feud looks to continue at least until Battleground. I imagine Rusev should have another feud. But would you like to hear my prediction for what I got Rusev doing at SummerSlam?
What's that?
I'd like to hear it.
Okay, we've had Sheamus talking a lot of crap on Twitter. We've also had Rusev talking a lot of crap on Twitter. Rusev has been talking crap to Brock Lesnar on Twitter, pretty much, saying he could take Brock Lesnar. Sheamus has been talking crap to Conor McGregor.
Oh,
Conor McGregor has said, and me and Brock Lesnar, you pick your partner, Sheamus, me and Brock Lesnar will take any of y'all. So I'm thinking we're going to get a Conor McGregor and Brock Lesnar tag match against Rusev and Sheamus.
Yeah, do something funny.
If not at SummerSlam, possibly WrestleMania. I don't know. I'm
well,
thinking
if
that's
Stephen
more
Amell,
SummerSlam.
if Stephen Amell could do it, then Conor McGregor.
Of course, and they'll get crushed, so, but I can see it happening, just with all the little seeds they're planting on their tweets.
And
Yeah.
I think Brock Lesnar would make a good U.S. champion and get prestige to the championship.
Well, and now as if, he actually did end up, if Conor McGregor for some reason can't do it, which he's retired, isn't he? Why wouldn't he be able to do it? But, if Conor McGregor can't do it, maybe Brock Lesnar just goes one-on-one with Rusev. You wouldn't think that they would put the U.S. title on Brock Lesnar, but you never know. Our main event, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, we've already briefly talked about it. But, good match. Really, Roman Reigns dominated the very beginning of it. Really, the first 15 minutes of the match, Seth Rollins finally started to get back into it. How did y'all think Seth Rollins looked as far as his first match back on TV?
Well, and he looked really good. He looked to be in fantastic shape. We all know he was working some live events, and whenever you're injured and you're just now starting to come back, that's how WWE does it. They have you work live events to get you back into better shape, to shake off all of that ring rust, because he'd been gone since November.
Sure.
With that injury, so that makes sense. And he did a lot of great spots, and I gotta say one of the best ones. And I even said it on my Money in the Bank review a couple of days ago. The timing,
spear to the pedigree.
exactly. Timing had to be perfect, and it was.
Roman Reigns going for a spear to him, and he jumped up, pretty much picked up his arm. He missed the other arm, but he pretty much turned a spear into a pedigree, which was pretty
Exactly.
awesome.
Pretty awesome. Yeah,
But they pretty much had Seth Rollins be the babyface in this match, and Roman Reigns was acting like the heel throughout the entire match.
Well, it's almost to be expected with the IWC hatred of Roman Reigns. Since January, they've been hating his guts.
But ultimately, the spear to the pedigree and a second pedigree did Roman Reigns in. Seth Rollins, new world heavyweight champion.
Yep.
However, Dean Ambrose's music hits, and then we've got a cash in. So he comes in, clocks Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank
Dirty
briefcase. Dirt Deeds, Dean Ambrose is your champ, baby, and all of the Shield members are world heavyweight champions in one night.
And if memory serves me correctly, in the history of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, this was only the second time
Can you name the first,
It-
folks?
Kane?
Yeah, but
You
this
can
was,
name the first, yeah.
yeah, this was only the second time in the history of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view where someone won the Money in the Bank and then would go on to the main event, cash it in, and win the title.
Yeah, and,
Well, you know what? Kane cashed it in, but who did he cash it in on?
Daria?
no,
No, but it was someone who feuded with him.
I know the answer.
Edge?
Think 619.
Wow.
I don't know,
there we
yeah,
are.
it's Daria.
619. So yeah, Monday Night Raw. That's where we're headed now. Moves in Phoenix, and we can kind of just brush through. Ambrose kicked off the show, saying it was a wild night in Vegas. And now if Roman Reigns is the guy and Seth Rollins is the man, he's the dude. So Dean Ambrose is now the dude.
And the
And
dude
the crowd loved it. They started chanting it.
The
You
dude
know,
abides.
and then Roman Reigns did come out and interrupt him. He told the crowd to shut up.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
Roman
heel
Reigns.
tendencies right there.
The heel tendencies keep on coming out. Let's see, and basically it was basically Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns arguing over who deserves the rematch.
And
Shane O'Mac.
And here comes the money. Instead of y'all two are going against each other to see who's the more contender.
So that was your main event on Raw, huge main event. And I thought they pretty much pulled out all the stops with it being the first night. That basketball is over, so it's a ratings push, baby. They need some ratings over the summertime, until football gets here. Needless to say, that's a pretty big main event. Also announced for the night, they were trying to end the rivalry between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but that just did not work out. Basically.
And we're backstage.
Yeah, after Sami Zayn won the match with a quick roll up, which is of course is a fluke victory usually. They pretty much brawled. Kevin Owens wasn't happy that he lost the match, so they brawled on the stage. They brawled backstage, and these guys have done an excellent job with their storyline as far as just showing their sheer hatred for each other. I'm sure they've been doing this for 10 years now.
I just thought about something. Take a look at what happened. That they had a confrontation everywhere. Would that be a clue, a hint, as to possibly a Falls Count Anywhere match between the two?
Yeah.
If they were going to brawl anywhere, like they did on Monday Night Raw, why not make it an official match?
I like it. And I mean, I could see that them heading there for SummerSlam. I think it'll probably be a one-on-one match, probably for Battleground, that has an indecisive finish.
Yeah.
Let's see, John Laurinaitis or John Laryngitis is name for
People
second.
power! People power! People power! I want to be on SmackDown! Why do I sound like I've been gargling Drano?
Yeah,
I'm
so
trying to see the stepdaddy.
Shane O'Mac, and that's kind of the storyline right now. Shane O'Mac believes he is going to be running both Raw and SmackDown, which doesn't make sense to me, because how are they going to do that with the draft? Is Shane O'Mac just going to go from one table to the next just drafting people? I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be Stephanie running one, Shane running the other. And I believe it's going to be Stephanie running Raw, Shane running SmackDown.
So far in this whole, and then the whole build for the SmackDown going live and the draft, we've seen Teddy Long, Corporate Kane, John Laurinaitis, unfortunately. Who's going to be it next week?
Eric
Vicky
Bischoff.
Guerrero.
I'm back.
Vicky Guerrero, maybe Eric Bischoff.
Well, you know what?
Mick
WWE
Foley.
recently just released a DVD about Eric Bischoff, about him being the most controversial figure. And when I get the opportunity to watch it, I'll review it. If not separately on WGS TV, who knows? Maybe I'll review it here on Sports Entertainment Tonight.
So there was that. I think, we're going to get Stephanie running one, Shane the other, and they're just teasing all these other
Stephanie already did SmackDown years ago.
Enzo and Cass against the Vaudevillains. Enzo and Cass weren't really doing much. The Bada Boom Shakalaka is what their finisher is called now.
Yeah, the famous rocket launcher finish, made famous by the Midnight Express, which was beautiful Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane, or if you guys want to go to the original one, Bobby Eaton and Dennis Cadre. That was their finish. It was called the rocket launcher. The Bada Boom Shakalaka, I face palmed the hell I was like, what the hell was that? You're gonna rename a classic finish of the rocket launcher to that garbage, the Bada Boom Shakalaka? Really?
Bada boom shakalaka.
How about the boom shakalaka? Boom boom shakalaka.
Which I mean, like if Enzo Amore had a dime for every time he actually cared about your opinion, Billy,
He
you
would
know how
have
many
0
dimes he'd
dimes.
have? He'd have 0 dimes. So,
Yes, 0 dimes, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's where I was able to throw it in. AJ Styles came out. He was talking about how his win was tainted. They did the whole apology thing to Cena, yada yada, which led to the match with Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson gets destroyed by Cena.
Yeah.
However, after the AA, the club comes to save him. They pretty much jump Cena. Club stands tall. So that's how that's progressing. Baron Corbin pretty much came out, dominated Zack Ryder. End of days.
The way I view it, it was a Baron Corbin match and a Ryder squash match. It's basically a double piss break.
Right. And JBL claims that Baron Corbin is a future heavyweight champion.
No.
Oh my
If
god.
utilized properly.
Oh my god.
Takes flies,
Right now, they're not
utilizing.
utilizing Baron Corbin correctly. If they can utilize him properly and
How can you utilize somebody with no personality?
I don't know.
manager,
Maybe. Yeah, give him Paul Heyman or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, he comes out on a motorcycle.
I mean, would Brock Lesnar be in the spot he's in today if it wasn't for Paul Heyman?
Yes.
No.
Brock Lesnar is a physical specimen. Baron
Yeah, but-
Corbin is a chunky little monkey.
Paul Heyman can talk up a mop into a main event. He can make a mop a superstar. He can make a mop popular.
So are you really comparing Baron Corbin with Brock Lesnar, Billy? Are
I'm
you
not,
gonna go
I'm not
there?
comparing Baron Corbin to Brock Lesnar. I'm comparing the fact that if they used Baron Corbin with Paul Heyman or another manager
It would
with,
help.
yeah, it
The
would.
guy still sucks in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hey, but hey, I used to think that Miz sucked, and I like Miz now. So you never know. He can win.
You
me
like
over.
Miz because he's
I-
married to Maurice.
Well, I mean, I have a short memory, Billy. I'm a what have you done for me lately guy. If you've entertained me lately, then I can get on it, you know. And Miz is very entertaining.
But-
Baron Corbin
now that
puts me to
Maurice is
sleep
there-
every time he's on the screen.
Every time Maurice is out there, now Miz is entertaining.
Oh.
Well, I think
So,
he does a good job being a heel, though. Like, a lot of people don't like him because he was on MTV, the reason why.
why? Because he yells at the crowd. He's like, "Shut up! I don't care what y'all say. I'm a lone wolf. I don't have any friends." Whatever. All right. Women's title match was on Raw. Paige against Charlotte with Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke pretty much caused the distraction. It was a cheat. And Charlotte retained the title. It looks like Paige is still in the picture. However, after they kind of jumped Paige afterwards, who makes the save?
The boss, Sasha Banks, and it's about time
I
that
know,
she.
where's she been?
Well, she's been backstage for the past couple of weeks, but WWE never really pulled the trigger. And I think the only reason why they kept the title on Charlotte, I think they would, the angle between Charlotte and now Sasha Banks apparently seems to be more feasible with the women's championship involved in it instead of without it.
Surely. So yeah, Sasha Banks is back. Maybe we're heading towards some type of another tag match at Battleground.
I hope not.
I don't know. We'll see.
First one was bad enough. We don't need another
Hey,
one.
we've got 5 weeks of build for Battleground.
Yeah.
So they've got plenty of time. Rusev and Titus O'Neil was a no contest because they pretty much brawled. The bell never even rang. Rusev was able to escape through the crowd. In the main event, number 1 contender match, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, pretty much ended in a double countout. Afterwards, Dean Ambrose gave the dirty deeds to both Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, who is now gone off the roster for 30 days.
Yeah, he was, because he got high.
But the question still remains, will he still be in the main event at Battleground?
I don't
Because
think so. I think they're just going to let him do a run and screw Rollins out.
I agree, Mark.
Because Blake brought it up in the chat room earlier in the show that his
He'll be back.
yeah, he'll be back on the 21st.
He'll be back for Battleground. He'll run in. So this is what we got for Battleground. We've only got about 2 minutes left, so let's run through what we have on the card so far. We've got Ambrose defending the title against Seth Rollins, possibly Roman Reigns.
So
We'll
let's
see.
put a question mark next to Reigns' name.
We are going to have some type of AJ Styles against John Cena. I'm thinking that they might possibly go with a 6-man tag at Battleground. Maybe Cena with Enzo and Cass.
Or maybe they call up a tag team from NXT.
Maybe, yeah, American Alpha. American Alpha, that would actually be awesome. And go against the club. That could be really cool. It appears that New Day is going to defend their tag titles against the Wyatts, maybe even possibly have a 6-man tag. Natalya is feuding with Becky Lynch, it appears. Rusev appears to be going to have a rematch with Titus O'Neil at the next pay-per-view.
My question is why?
Charlotte is now feuding with Paige and Sasha Banks, so that's interesting. It appears we're going to get another version of the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'm excited about it.
Call us anywhere.
And you know, folks, if they're on Monday Night Raw, if they're winning on Monday Night Raw, they're going to be on the pay-per-view because they're selling you on something. So Baron Corbin should have a match. Enzo and Cass should be doing something. Anderson and Gallows should be doing something. And hey, what about The Miz? Remember, he is your Intercontinental Champion. So
Yeah, but I'm not sure how long he's going to be out filming the Marine 5.
we'll see. Once again, my name is Nick Fuquay. This is
The Wrestle Gamer.
WrestleGamer Billy Boudreaux.